up? Hey, thanks for being on the Chazway podcast. It is episode number, I believe, 19, which is so crazy. I say that every week. It's so crazy. We're another week into the year. God's so good, man. And each week it just gets better. We meet so many great people. So thankful for social media and for networking and building relationships. I'm thankful that God gave me an ability to ask people. And I believe that it's 100% no if you don't ask, right? And so this week's no exception. I've got an awesome guest. This guy name's Brandon Judd. I don't know anything about him except he's a moto dad. He loves his family, loves his kids, loves dirt bikes. I'm like, dude, what a perfect guest. Oh, and he loves social media and he loves YouTube. I'm like, okay, cool, perfect. So I'll let Brandon tell you guys a little bit about him. But first of all, let me just say once again, as I started to say a minute ago, it's so cool to network and build relationships. And if you don't ask somebody to be a part of what you're doing, well, then the answer is always going to be no. And so I asked Brendan to be on because I kind of was inspired by the little bit I've seen of him on YouTube and on Instagram. And I thought, well, let's find out more of a story. So Brandon, welcome to the Chazway podcast.
Good to be here. Big number 19. It's going to be a good one.
Yes, for sure, man. That's awesome. So I was talking to you before we went on the air. You are currently in Washington. Where are you from?
So I guess I'd say that our family is based out of Washington. We were here since like 2006. And in the past 2 years, we've kind of just been bouncing around going all over the country for a couple months. Like we came from Florida. We were in Florida for a few months. Before that, we were back here in Washington, and then we just kind of travel around and mix things up every couple months. It's been the pattern for the past 2 years at least. Yeah.
So the listeners as well as myself are going to be thinking in their head. We're all going to want to ask. So when you say travel around every couple of months, what does that mean? Are you strictly living the motocross lifestyle? Do you have a job? Do you work remote? How is it that you can pick up and travel every few months?
So basically we are going to like a home base. Like we rented a place in Florida that was kind of centrally located for a few months. And then from there we would kind of travel. We went up to Georgia and went to some motocross tracks and things, and went down to Tampa and did a few races. I don't know what our goal is. Like we're not necessarily like hardcore racers where we're just constantly just chasing the race circuit or the top amateur scene. We're kind of more just like the YouTube content creators who also do motocross. So we're going around. We're looking just to have fun and make memories, kind of thing.
That's awesome. So are you able to build, like, would you consider yourself, is YouTube content creation your gig then? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, it is. So YouTube is providing our income right now. And I can't say I can't brag. I can't say we're killing it right now. We're kind of just barely scraping by, but we're making enough to keep doing what we're doing, and we're trying to grow it. And I'm also trying to figure out other avenues of finding additional income along with doing the YouTube videos, which I'm not super into business. I'm not a really good business person, so I'm growing and trying to get into that. I'm more like the have fun, create content kind of person.
Yeah,
but
dude.
I'm finding that I need to evolve into also creating other ways to make money also. So because motocross is an expensive sport. Like if we kind of have like the average family income, and it's hard to do what we do, and it's hard to keep the kids' bikes running on the family average family income. So we're working at it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I think that you keep doing what you're doing and you'll build some crazy good relationships. And I do a lot of research and I listen to a lot of great podcasts and interviews and with some really successful people, not just in YouTube, but in social media content creation in general. And one thing I continue to hear is how people are growing in their and even in brand ambassador stuff, where it's not necessarily that they're out there just vomiting brand representation, but just building some good working relationships with some brands. And maybe that's something that can come down the road for you. But I know what you mean. It's like, at the end of the day, I'm not a great business guy. I love
Right.
people. I love life. I love to just live life every day. And so it's cool that you're able to merge that with now what is becoming some income. But however,
Right.
you're also like, having to figure out some other things on the back end so that you can make that a long-term financial success as well. So props to you. How did that all come
Yeah.
about? Like at what point in your life and why did you decide to pick up the camera and say, hey, let's go
Okay.
public?
So in 2015, I started out doing videos just kind of for fun. It was kind of like a creative outlet for me, and a way to have fun with the kids. So I'd set up like little jumps for them to jump off the banister onto pillows, and I'd film that. We'd build little ramps and film that kind of stuff. But it was really more, we were making videos more for us than for anybody else. And then it wasn't until we did a trip to Disneyland, and I made the coolest, awesomest Disneyland montage edit ever of the kids, and I put that up there, and I don't know, it got like 100 views or something. And then I noticed another suggested another Disneyland video that, and I was like, that one has like millions of views. What is that? Why does that one have so many more views than me? So I click on it and I watch it, and I was kind of like, this video is horrible. Why is this one doing so good? But anyways, I was intrigued, and I dived into it, and I looked into this channel. It was the Shaytards, and they had a huge following, and I was like, why do so many people watch this guy's videos? So I was watching it, and just had to do some research, had to find out how he got so big and famous on YouTube, and watched it, and I realized that he didn't do anything other than just have fun with his kids and make videos with his kids. And at that time, I like this light bulb went off for me, because I was constantly chasing these jobs where my goal was to make a lot of money in order to have freedom to go spend time with my kids. And this guy did it backwards. He did it the other way. Instead of finding a job that provided for him to have fun and have freedom with his kids, he just started having fun and doing what he wanted with his kids. And then the money just came to him. And he built this big empire, had this big following, got brand deals, had merch and stuff. And at that point, I was like, that's what I want. That's what I want to do. I don't want to punch a clock and go work in order to buy my freedom. I want to do it this way. And I decided at that moment, I was like, I don't want to let me put it this way. I said I would rather make $50,000 a year doing videos and having fun with my kids than having a job making $500,000 a year and then not get to see my kids and be with them. So
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I'm gonna do, and I set that goal, and I didn't tell anybody at the time. I didn't tell anybody that was my goal because it seemed so unrealistic, and I saw the path. But my wife at the time, if I would have told her my goal, she would have been like, "That's ridiculous. That's unrealistic." So I didn't tell her. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anybody. I just started making videos and growing a following, and I didn't realize it at the time, but it took 5 years. I didn't realize it was going to take that long. I figured a year or two, but it took me 5 years to get to the point where I had a solid income where I could replace my other incomes. And for the past 2 years, we've just been making videos, traveling, and just meeting like the coolest people and making friends all over the country. So it's been rad. It's been cool. I'm super grateful that I've been able to give my kids the experiences where they get to travel, they get to go to tracks, they get to go to races, they get to meet pro riders, they get to meet just random kids that they meet at the track and make friends with, and you know, chat online now, and it's been super rad.
That's cool. How old are your kids? You have 3, right?
Yeah, so my kids now are, the youngest is 10, and then I have a 13-year-old. The youngest, my son is Mason, he's 10, and then my other son is Luke, and he's 13, and my daughter is 15, and she actually just started racing about 2 years ago, and we came up here to Washington so that she could do the Loretta Lynn qualifier, which is like the amateur national championship in motocross. And and she qualified for the first round, and then we've got another round that she's got to do, and then if she qualifies, she can go to the big amateur championship in the summer, which would be a pretty big deal. So she's gonna give it a shot.
That's crazy. Does she love it? Does she love motocross?
She is obsessed. Yeah. It's really interesting because she started out doing gymnastics and she was really competitive at that, and we would travel and she'd go to Arizona and go to Idaho and do competitions and stuff. And when she said when COVID happened, the gym got shut down and they were doing like Zoom workouts and stuff. And she didn't like it. She hated it. She said she didn't want to do it anymore and she wanted to quit. And part of me was like, yeah, I was honestly like a little relieved. I was like, okay, great. That's a little bit more money we could put every month into YouTube and dirt bikes. So she jumped in and she's been hardcore ever since. And she's been serious, and she's the kid that's driven and focused and wants to get whatever she's doing. She wants to be her best. So she's progressed a lot in the past 2 years, and
that's awesome.
And she's helping the channel because she's bringing in another audience. I think she's appealing to more girls and stuff. So
yeah, that's super cool. And are the boys like, I mean, out of all the kids, is she the most driven to like pursue moto, or are they all kind of equally matched?
So they're all a little bit different. I'd say the youngest, Mason, he is just doing it for fun. There's days that he doesn't want to ride and he just wants to chill at home. So he's kind of just like, he wants to do it for fun. Luke and Lillian are driven and they're real focused. I'd say Luke is a little bit more interested in like jumping and freestyle, and Lillian's more into like moto and just wants to train and get faster. So they each got their own style, and it's been a little bit of a challenge to raise them all the same, when like Luke and Lillian will go ride every single day if they could, and Mason, if you did that to him, he'd get burned out and he probably wouldn't want to do it anymore. So
so trying to like find what motivates each of them and keep them happy at the same time.
And it's a little bit of a debate sometimes. Like Lillian wants to go to one track or Luke wants to go to a different track, but for the most part, we're making it work.
Yeah. And what about you, Brandon? I mean, I can tell that what keeps you happy is your kids, and you're loving, I mean, it seems like you love the filming and stuff, but what fills your cup? What do you love to do? What's keeping you fired up all the time?
Being creative and fun and making jokes and editing and putting our day into a video and making it entertaining to watch and making it flow. So that's really my favorite thing. And the video started out as just being fun YouTube family videos. Like it wasn't until 4 years ago that we even started doing the dirt bike thing. But I like biking. I like riding. I just haven't been focused on it because I know that my kids' childhood is so short that a few years is going to go by so fast that I'm trying to focus on them right now. And when they're older, I could always get back into riding and enjoy that later on. But for right now, all my focus is on them, filming and taking care of the bikes and keeping them on the track is a full-time job. If I did bring a bike with me, it would be hard I probably wouldn't even get to ride that much. So right now I'm just focusing on them.
That's awesome. So speaking of bikes and taking care of the bikes and the kids, do you have a mechanical background? Are you like wrenching on the bikes every time you're out at the track?
Unfortunately, no. I'm not super good at working on the bike. So it's been like a work in progress, or I kind of like learn as I go. The bikes are pretty simple for the most part, but if it's something too technical, I usually take it to somebody else, or luckily we've made some friends that'll help me out on occasion, but I'm probably not the best moto dad in that area.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Like my 15-year-old I'm not a mechanically inclined guy at all, but my son is not afraid whatsoever to get in there and learn everything he can. And I'm really thankful for that for two reasons. One, he learns his own stuff. For two, I also have a bike, so I'm like, hey, can you change my oil? I'll cash out you $15. He's like, yeah, I can change the oil. I'm like, sweet, because I'm still
Yeah.
learning. I'll go watch
Yeah.
a video. You change my oil. He's like super open to that, which I'm really happy about because that's just not my jam, you know.
Hey, that's a good chore, you know, if you're gonna give your kids an allowance, make them work on
Right.
your bike.
Right, exactly. And he's just not afraid to, most importantly for me, it's the fact that he's not afraid to dive in and learn something new. And that's
Yeah.
awesome for me because I just did that's not my craft, you know. So I'm thankful for that for sure.
Yeah, that's really good for them to learn at a young age, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a good skill to have.
so what about like, okay, so it seems like things are, I love what you guys are doing. I think it's awesome. What's next? Washington's on the map for right now. Like obviously that's your current
Yeah.
qualifying for Loretta's. What happened? Where how much more? I know you mentioned there's a couple more races, but at what point will is it Lillian? Is your daughter?
Hmm.
At what point will she know she's qualified for the big Loretta's race?
So I had to learn it myself, but so there's an area qualifier, which is the first race, and then she qualified for that one. You have to get like top 8, depending upon which one you go to, something like that. And then the
Nice.
next one is called the regional, and that is on the 27th, and she's got to get top 4, which is going to be which isn't guaranteed. Like the top 3 girls that I think are going to be there, if they show up, are next level, and then she's kind of like in the next mid pack, so she could maybe get 4th, but it'll be hard to see. It'll be um she'll have to maybe have a little bit of luck, and maybe have one of her best days in
Yeah,
order
some
to get
hard
4th.
work and some
So
luck.
yeah.
Okay. So the regional will, so if she makes top 4 in the regional, she'll qualify.
Correct.
Okay, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
and the regionals at the end of this month. You said the 20th or something, 28th.
27th, I believe, and
Okay.
then the Loretta race is in, I think, August. I'll have to double check on that, but that's the big race, and it's something that I think it'll be a good experience, and maybe might help her to get some a little additional recognition, and maybe some help from some other sponsors.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, she'll probably be the pack, so I don't know if it'll even matter or not, but it'll be a good experience.
Yeah, either way, it'll be awesome opportunity. I
Yeah.
don't know for sure if we're gonna be able to make it happen, but that's something we'd like to try and make it out to. I think Braxton might have a couple of friends that are riding out there. I hope.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
now that he's so into filming, he's gonna try and get every opportunity he can to film. So if I mean, hey, listen, if she needs somebody to film and we're there, let us know, because Braxton would definitely be happy to film if you guys need an extra camera person, you know. So let us know.
Yeah.
But man, that's so
Absolutely. I'll
cool.
definitely take you up on that for sure.
Yeah, he'd be honored to do it. So
Yeah.
definitely I'll make sure you have his Instagram so you can give him a follow and stay in touch with him
Yeah.
as well. But cool,
Sure.
man. All right. So before we wrap up, what outside of Washington, if you're like, here we are in May, right? Mid-May. What do you
Mhm.
think, like, what's the next 6 months look like for, by the way, I'll plug the name Vlog Epicness, right? And I'll make sure I put everything in the description so people can find you. I don't think I've said it yet,
Right.
but I will make sure people can find you guys on your socials. But what's the next 6 months or so look like for you guys? Where do you want to be before the end of 2022 in life and business and moto and just in your family? What do you think's on the horizon?
Well, I guess we start with business. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not super savvy with business. I feel like I'm more of the like have fun, create videos kind of guy. So I'm trying to progress and get better at that, because YouTube pays AdSense, but they only pay like so much, and I feel like we kind of got capped out at that. So in order for us to get to the next level and be able to provide more opportunities for our kids, I've been trying to get a website going and start doing like merch and designs and things like that. So my goal from here on out is for until the end of the year is I'm trying to establish an additional stream of income through promoting a clothing brand through our videos. So that's what I'm working on as far as business goes. And ironically, as far as where we're going to end up next, we actually spent the last week or 2 weeks in Utah, and we really like it there. So there's a good chance that after we are done this summer here in Washington, there's a good chance that we're going to go back to Utah. And ironically, you would think that traveling around the country and bouncing around from area to area and like going like, okay, we're going to stay here for a few months. We're going to ride the tracks. We're going to see what there is to offer. And then we're going to go somewhere else and then do the same thing for a few months. You think that would be great, but it actually has been difficult on like some members of our family because they don't feel like they have like a home base, and they just want to have like a more of like a routine. So after this stay here in Washington, we want to kind of set our roots down and have a home somewhere where we're going to stay more long term. So that is most likely going to be Utah, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, dude, Oklahoma's a good spot. Central U.S. houses are cheaper.
Yeah,
and there's quite a moto. I don't think it's the hugest moto scene, but there's a moto scene here.
That's true. Yeah, we might have to come check that out too.
Yeah. Have you guys been to Oklahoma? Like, you've been to some tracks here?
No, we drove through Texas, but we didn't quite make it up into Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you're ready, you guys come hang out. You guys can stay with us if you want to. And there's Ponca, which is a national. It's a qualifier for Loretta's.
Right.
And of course you got Robbie Raynard's track here, and Trey's from here. A lot of moto guys are from here, so.
That's true. There's kind of a little hotbed there for motocross. We just need to find a good realtor there, I guess.
Well, I happen to know one. That's awesome. Well, cool, man. That's awesome. So, awesome. before we close, man, let me just ask you this: like, for your family, if you could have like, I meant to ask you earlier, are all the kids homeschooled? I guess that's probably a given. Is that the answer?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Right.
And do they all like it?
I think they're kind of getting to the point where maybe they feel like they might want to do public school. Just as I was talking earlier, just like that structure and that routine. I feel like, especially like Luke, I think he really would like to have a little bit of more of a like routine than just like fly by the seat of your pants day to day, what's going on today kind of thing. So when we get settled and we figure out where we're at, we may try putting him or the kids in public school. We actually did homeschool even before we started traveling. So even when we were like just a normal family doing YouTube videos and stuff, the kids did homeschool back then. But we met up. We had a friend over, one of Luke's friends, and Luke was talking about how he wanted to go to school, and his friend was like, "No, you don't. No, it's horrible. You'd be miserable." So I don't know. I think the grass is greener on the other side, but I'd be open to letting him try public school again if he wants to.
Yeah, it's tough. And you have 3 of them, so it's like, do you want them all to be in the same? Do you want to give them options? Or, Braxton has done both. And we have found a groove with homeschool. Of course, like I said, I have 1 kid, but so he's done back and forth, but midway through 7th grade, he moved back into homeschool, and he's done it ever since. He's finishing a sophomore year now, and it's been phenomenal for him. But it just works, and it works with my lifestyle. I don't do a 9-to-5 type job. As I'm a realtor, but before that I was in network marketing and MLM for 5 years. So I had a lot of time freedom, and we traveled a lot too. so it really worked for us, and now it works for him because as he's matured into his own, even at 15, he's really grown into his own young man. He really sets his own schedule the way he wants, and I respect that. As long as he gets good grades, that's my whole rule. Is like, I don't expect you to be a straight A student. I expect you to do your work and do it well, and that's it. That's my
Correct.
expectation is just be mature enough to do your work, and he's taken it on himself. It's kind of given him an opportunity to take responsibility, and he kills it. He's not he's and so for me, it's been great. But he's halfway through high school, so part of him's like, I kind of want to go to a brick and mortar school, and then he's like, well, that comes with its own sets of struggles also. It really,
Yeah.
and so we just we pray about it, and we talk about it, and whatever's supposed to be. It's summertime now, basically, and we're signed up for the next year of online school. But if he really gets serious about going to a brick and mortar school, we'll address it. But the reality is, when you get to live kind of a freer lifestyle, it's really hard to go back into. It's kind of like you or I. Like, if we were to
Right.
next Monday, if we fast forward to next Monday, you and I have to put on a suit and go clock in at 7:45 in the morning. It would be way out of what's normal for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember those days, and sometimes I have to remember those times of Sunday nights, just like dreading the Monday morning that was about to come, and weekend always goes by too fast and stuff. But yeah, he
Yeah.
sounds like a good kid though. So I mean, either way, the next 2 years is gonna fly by for him.
For sure, for sure, and
Yeah.
he's super driven to. I mean, he's an entrepreneur at heart, so he's gonna do he's gonna grow in his own business stuff too. Like I said, photography and videography is really what he's very serious about. So whether he's in school, brick and mortar or not, he knows what he wants to do. For now, that'll change. I
Mhm.
mean, he's young, but I let him pursue whatever he wants. So that's awesome. Well, hey Brandon, like before I let you go, the last thing is what inspires you. I say what, but like who or what really inspires you to go to the next level? I love talking to people that are not looking for an average day to day life. People like you or myself or Braxton or so many of my friends and family that I've been blessed to have around me in my circle want to grow to the next level. And the next level is different for all of us, right? But
Yeah.
for you, what is it? What is it? What inspires you? What keeps you going all the time? I mean, we've talked about some goals for the next few months or throughout the rest of the year, but what really fires you up or has inspired you to do and become something or someone extraordinary?
I guess freedom and opportunity is what inspires me, and just trying to strive to give my kids the best life and opportunities that I can, because like um life goes by so fast for me, but for them, it's you blink and then it's gone. And I'm real like, when Lillian turned 15, I was like, oh, crap, we got 3 years left until she's 18 and possibly out. So I like set a goal. I was like, all right, I really want to make the next 3 years really good for her. And then now she's 15 and a half. I'm like, crap, it's gone by. It's already 6 months has gone by. So, really, like, what motivates me is just trying to provide the best for my kids, and give them the opportunities that I didn't really have, and give them the experiences that I didn't really have. And I don't know if they really appreciate it at this point. Hopefully maybe someday they will. But um
Yeah.
the way I look at it is, after my kids are grown, and when they're gone, then I can focus on me, and I can, you know, worry about building my nest egg, or do what I want to do, or
Sure.
whatever. But you
Yeah.
can't get this time back. You can't get these memories back. So
No, you can't. And even if, like you said, I don't know if they notice it or feel it. I mean, they may not digest it today that they're feeling it or noticing it, but they will look back later, and I think they'll totally appreciate and respect it. And you'll probably pass that on to them. They probably will feel the roots of what you've done as they grow into parenthood someday as well, and see the sacrifice that you've made. and do the same thing. I keep saying one last question, and then I'm reminded of one next question. But Braxton, a few months ago, probably a month ago, Braxton's like, "Hey, you got to add this to the podcast. You've got to ask your guests," because I always ask 2 or 3 questions at the end, and he's like, "You've got to start asking everybody who's the most biggest, most important, coolest person in your cell phone contacts, and tell one story about them." So, who's the coolest person in your phone contact, and what's a cool story about them?
Ooh, that is a good question.
I wish I could take credit for it, but
Yeah.
it's totally a Braxton question.
See, the problem is this is one of those questions where I'm gonna think of something and then say it, and then as soon as we get off the call, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, this would have been a better one."
So I interviewed Braxton 2 weeks ago. My guest had an emergency right before my interview. So I interviewed Braxton, and he goes, "Hey, let's try it. You haven't done it yet." So he hit me up with it, and I haven't actually dropped
Mhm.
that video yet. And I got like same thing. I'm like, because I've been blessed to know a lot of people. And as soon as I gave him my answer, I thought of 5 more, and I'm like, dang it, it's too late now. So I know what you mean, but you're on the spot, so go with it.
All right. So one of the contacts in my phone is Mr. Fix It. I just gave him that nickname, Mr. Fix It, but his name is Kevin Homer, and he's in Las Vegas, and we've been friends forever. We met when we were both missionaries, actually, and we were missionaries staying together, and every 6 weeks or something, we had like a home inspection where somebody would come in, and we were staying in this home, and we had to have an inspection just to make sure that we were keeping it clean. But like, we were missionaries at the time, and we weren't doing anything other than not cleaning up very well. And he had been out on his mission for a year. So there was like this tradition that you burn a shirt when you reach your year mark, and instead of doing it like outside, like in the morning, he does it right in the middle of the apartment, and the shirt catches on fire, goes up in smoke, burns to a crisp, and then like up on the ceiling there's this big black circle of smoke. And this was that morning, and the people were coming to inspect the apartment in like 30 minutes. And I'm like, what are we gonna do? We got this big like cloud of smoke in this apartment. So and then it fell on the ground. It fell on the ground, and then it burnt a hole in the carpet. So we're trying to think, like, what are we gonna do? And we pull the couch out. We put the couch over the hole in the carpet, and then we put the vacuum behind the couch to make it look like we were vacuuming behind the couch. And then there's this smell of smoke. So we're like, how do we get rid of the smell? We open all the windows, nothing's working. So I go and get some bread. I put it in the toaster, and I put it down, and then it pops up, put it down again, pops up, put it down again, until the toast was just completely black. And then the people come over. It's like a older couple. They're here to like inspect the apartment, and they walk in, and they're like, "What is that smell?" And I'm like, "Oh, I burnt the toast," and like show them, and like, they're like, "Oh, okay." And then they come in, and they're like, "Wow, you guys clean behind the couch. Not too many people do that." So they're walking around, and they're standing right where the black spot is in the ceiling. So they're like talking to me. I'm just looking at them like, "Don't look up, don't look up, don't look up." Luckily they didn't look up, and then they didn't notice anything. They gave us like extra credit for cleaning behind the couch, and then they left. And then luckily, like, nothing happened. Like, not that anything would have really happened, but we were just super, we were like 19, 20 at the time, so we're just like super nervous and paranoid. So that's the best story I could think of at the moment.
That's a great story, and it could have ended really tragic.
True. Yeah, it could have
Really tragic.
Right.
That's crazy, dude. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. And his name's Kevin Homer, Mr. Fix It.
He's a character. He's a fun guy.
That's awesome. How cool. Dude, I appreciate you, Brandon. It's been awesome having you on. Thanks for taking time out of your day. Please tell your kids hello. And man, from Braxton and I both, we wish them an awesome, awesome summer and a great racing season. And we're going to definitely no promises we'll make, Loretta, but it is on our radar. We'd love to be out there. And I'll get with you later on through text and try and connect you and Braxton and maybe Lillian as well so that they can,
Yeah.
if you want, if it works out that he can film for you guys that weekend, that'd be super cool. And I'm really serious about if you guys come through Oklahoma, want to spend a little bit of time here, you are welcome to spend some time here with us. And then, and there are lots of tracks around as well.
Yeah, keep in touch. And yeah, if you guys ever see us around or if you're at Loretta's, then yeah, I'd love to have Braxton help out and film or anything. So
cool. All
yeah.
All right, Brandon, have an awesome day. I can't wait to have this thing air, and we'll make sure we drop all your info in the description as well. All right.
You're awesome. It's been fun. Thank you very much.